Hello, and welcome to our brand new series debuting on the Progressive Property YouTube channel, The Property Pilgrimage. I'm Sean Fitzpatrick, and in this series, me, along with the Progressive team, are going to be traveling the UK in search of successful property stories. Today takes us to the market town of Darlington in the north of England, and we are in a terraced two-bed property. So without further ado, let's pop in and meet the man behind the magic. Hello.
Hi, how you doing? You all right?
Nice to see you.
How's
Nice
things?
to
Yeah,
see you.
you too. Good to see you. Good to see you.
So, tell me, who are you?
Yeah, so Liam McCallum. So I am from Silla's Investments, Lettings and Management is our company, and we're obviously based up here in Darlington and cover the North East. So being a letting agent for 10 years, kind of moved around 18 months ago, 12 to 18 months ago, into the deal packaging, property sourcing space, and that's pretty much what I focus on full time now, is that side of things, the sourcing, finding properties for investors, getting them great returns on the money in properties just like the one we're in today.
Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So this one, it has just undergone a full refurbishment. So we've spent about 17 grand on refurbishing this one. We bought it off market, had a bad tenant in, hadn't paid rent for a year, they'd absolutely trashed the place. It was a dump when we came into it. It was really, really run down. But that's where the money is. So we were over the moon to have the opportunity. We came around and looked at it, secured it off market, sold it to our investor within about 3 hours of putting the deal out there and putting it to investors. It was snapped up really quickly. Oversaw, obviously, the project start to finish. We're just about finished now, barring a few snags, as we'll see as we go around. But we're getting there, ready to get tenants in and then get it refinanced from there, really.
Fantastic. So, were you always in property?
So I kind of have been since very early days, to be fair. So I initially kind of left school, worked in a call centre for a little bit, didn't like that, hated it. And then I had a friend who was doing a little bit of lettings and property management. He had this agency, and I was badgering him, can I have a job? Can I have a job? And he was, no, you can't work for me, you can't work for me. And then he called one day and said, I've got a job, do you want it? I was, go for it, yeah, it's something different, it's beer tokens, so why not, let's have a go.
So from a call centre
to letting agent. And then I was a letting agent for the past 10 years. Always looking after other people's properties, never really understanding why they did it, what the purpose was behind it. I just knew my job was, here's a property, put a tenant in, make sure everything's okay, keep everyone happy. But didn't understand the mechanics behind it and exactly what was happening there. It turned out sourcing was what we'd done for years, we just hadn't charged a fee. So a landlord would come to us and say, I want to buy a property in the Eastbourne area of Darlington. So we'd go out, we'd find a property in the Eastbourne area of Darlington, we'd advise them what it's going to rent for, we'd oversee the refurb, we'd pass it to lettings, and we got a 10% management fee of the rent for that, which was great. When we realised we could suddenly charge a fee for that, it was a massive eye-opener. And that's when we kind of came across Progressive. That's where we thought, let's explore this, let's see what it's about. So we attended that first multiple streams of property income, realised that this really does have something to it, there's something we can do with it, and went all at it from there, really. So
we go through to this next room.
Yeah.
So I can see that it's kind of an open plan.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we initially took the property on, where the archway is over there, it was a single door in the middle, and it was pretty pointless, to be honest, because they've got a separate door each in the hallway. A single door in the middle was just making the space feel really closed off, quite dark, not very inviting or welcoming.
Yeah,
so
I can imagine. So here was blocked off,
so here,
and this
yeah,
was just a
absolutely,
door.
yeah. So either side of it blocked off, so a single door in the middle. And we thought, well, actually, we can probably do more with that. And people are liking open plan space more and more these days. It's more and more popular with tenants. So we thought, well, let's knock it through. So we got a lintel put in, knocked it through, opened it up, open plan living room, dining space, which creates a really nice, light space.
Yeah, it sounds really lovely, and I can see exactly what you mean, because with the room opened up like this, you've got both windows on both sides, you've got light coming in from all areas, and it feels very light and spacious and airy.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, let's go through to this next space. What do we have through here?
So through here, we've got the kitchen and the utility area. So the kitchen, as you can see, is just in the process of being finished off. There's still a few snags to do.
This kitchen looks brand new.
It is, yeah, brand new kitchen.
It's beautiful.
When we came in before, it was a really, really basic kitchen. It had kind of 2 units here and a sink and one cupboard on the wall over there, and it was dropping to pieces. It hadn't been looked after. It wasn't workable, it wasn't usable. I don't know what tenant would be attracted to want to live with that, because there was no space. And I think it's, look, the kitchen adds value, right? So it's worth doing, isn't it? And that's the reason we always try and do the kitchens wherever we can.
This is a beautiful kitchen. You've obviously changed what was clearly a dark, small, unworkable space into something really fantastic. But what would this sort of cost?
So the kitchen, all in, supplied and fitted, we pay $3,750 for our kitchens.
$3,750?
$3,750, yeah. And that's, we're really fortunate with our kitchen fitter who does every one that he'll take the rough with the smooth. So sometimes if the supply is slightly more expensive, he'll reduce his labour. Sometimes if it's cheaper, he makes a bit more, and he's kind of, because he gets them in volume from us, he kind of says, well, actually, that's just a fixed price for a kitchen. Unless you want something extravagant, I'll just charge you the same each time, which makes that costing refurbs and trying to estimate where you're at when you're viewing really easy.
But this is all relationships, right? Because there'll be some people watching this and they'll be thinking, well, I can't just go and negotiate with B&Q in the price of a kitchen.
No, of course not.
But because you've built a relationship with this person, then you can have that kind of conversation and you can make it work for your business and his business.
And that's it. And that was the conversation we had. How do we make this more streamlined and simple for both of us? I don't have to ring you every time I'm viewing a house or stacking a deal for an investor, because I'm viewing 30, 40 houses a week in some cases. And I don't want to call you out 30, 40 times. You'll never get any work done. So how do we streamline it and make it work for both? He said, well, I can do a fixed price. Perfect, that works for me.
I mean, a key point here is going to be taking action as well.
Yes.
Because if you want to find people who can put in beautiful kitchens like this, you can't just sit at home like waiting for them to call. So you need to be getting out and meeting these people. You need to be getting out to networking events. You need to be getting out to your local community and to be able to have these problem-solving conversations, right?
Absolutely, that's it. And if you're not speaking to people, then you're never going to move forward and build those sorts of relationships and get those connections.
Yeah, especially if you want to meet investors, because we'll have some viewers here who will be thinking they can't get into property because they can't raise the funds.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
And the thing is, if you can't raise the funds, if you have that feeling, if you don't know how to find investors, where do you start?
I think you just put yourself out there, don't you? And that's where it's, for me, it was about just kind of, look, telling everyone what we do in as many ways and as many forms as possible. So if that was going on social media and doing videos of where I'm at, what I'm doing, I was doing that. If it was going to a networking event and telling everyone I'm a letting agent and deal packager, then that's what I was doing. It just, get out there, get yourself out.
Such an important point. If you want to get into property, you need to be getting yourself out there and telling people what you do. Because if people don't know what you do, if people don't know that you take investors' money, you put it into property and make them a nice return, they're never going to lend you the money. But if you get out and meet those investors and meet these people, because they do exist.
They do.
They are around.
Absolutely.
And sometimes they exist closer to home than you realise. So we've come into this space. So
yes.
I'm just looking around and I noticed big open plan space in there and now a big open plan space in here. There's just so much room.
Absolutely. So this initially was a utility area. And again, with this, it was a really dark space. It had a wooden back door that was solid with no light coming in whatsoever. So we're reliant on the one window in the kitchen to light the entire space.
Just that window.
It was awful. It just felt drab. So installed the new door with light to let some natural light in. And we toyed with the idea of whether we extend the kitchen down into this space or whether we leave it. The kitchen was ample, it did the trick, it didn't add any value to continue the kitchen from both a rental or an end value point of view. So we thought, well, actually, we're spending money for the sake of it there. So we left it as is, the idea being it can be an office space, a play room for children, a second dining room, whatever someone wants. It's a bit of a flexible space that people can use.
I love that, because if you consider, as you said, if you extended the kitchen into here, then it continues to be a kitchen, right?
Yeah, it's got one option, hasn't it?
Having this as a flexible space makes it more desirable for tenants and makes the space more workable.
Absolutely.
So you said you changed this door. I can see lots of light coming in. Shall we go up outside and
absolutely,
have a look?
Let's have a look.
I love these sorts of spaces because they're really intimate, and I'm just kind of imagining you'd have a little barbecue or something over here and a little table here, maybe a few plant pots. You can make it look really, really nice.
It's got a lot of potential, hasn't it?
It's huge amount of potential. It looks really, really cool. I'm just looking at these beautiful these red brick terrace houses look perfect for the sort of work that you do.
Absolutely, and this is the sort of thing that we're dealing with on a daily basis, to be fair. You can almost know which streets have the exact same houses on, and you know before you even view one what your offer's going to be. So this deal, funnily enough, we completed on this just before Christmas, and in the first week in January I got a call for another house just around the corner, and my brain thought straight away, that's the same as Greenville Street. So And funny enough, it was agreed on the exact same purchase price. The refurb costs exactly the same, with the same refinance, the same rent. It's the same deal. And I was like, that's almost uncanny how similar that's stacked up. But it's just about knowing that they're the same. And I saved loads of time in due diligence. It's kind of like, well, they're the same. I know what's happening. Just cross-reference, make sure I'm right. Yeah, I am. Perfect. That's great.
I love that. And call the same investor up and say, do you want another one?
It was the same investor
Was
as well.
it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So this is the other thing. Like, everybody thinks that you need to find billions of investors. You might just need to find one investor, and that one investor can go again and again and again with you, and you can build. You can build a business. It's amazing what you can do to property. Wow. Now, this certainly doesn't look like a bathroom that would have been here before.
No, absolutely not. So the bathroom has again been fully replaced, and it's our standard kind of signature design that we do every time, just with the white suites, chrome fittings, and then the grey cladding on the walls. We opt for cladding as opposed to tiles, just purely for cost effectiveness. It's more cost effective to put on.
So this is cheaper.
It's cheaper. Yeah, absolutely.
And it looks really good.
It looks great. Some will argue about its durability. There's pros and cons. You don't have grout with this, but at the same time it's plastic and tenants like to fall into it, as you can imagine. But a really nice finish. It looks fresh. It looks tidy. It's a nice bathroom. It does the job.
It does the job, absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't have to be anything very fancy, I mean, this just looks perfect for what a tenant would be looking for. I mean, I would be very happy with this bathroom.
Absolutely. We get great feedback from tenants. They kind of come in and it's the kitchens and the bathrooms that finish it off for them, and they'll walk in and go, this kitchen's great, this bathroom's great, and that's kind of encourages you that actually we don't need to change the plan next time. It's done the job, it's rented, just keep going, do it again and again.
Brilliant. Well, I was just thinking, as we were walking up the stairs, I was thinking about your story, and you said that you used to work in a call centre before starting the estate agency, but then you were in the estate agency and you were doing property, and you were doing property for years. Yeah. But you hadn't heard of property sourcers.
No, so, not to that extent. They're not realising that. Look, we'd had property sources ring up to book viewings and so forth, but I thought they were just kind of working directly with an investor, and someone had said, oh, can you do me a favour and help me find a property, that sort of thing. Sure. And didn't understand that you can actually build a business and build an income stream around that. And it was only when we kind of stumbled onto Progressive and did that multiple streams of property income that we realised that actually how much value there was in it. But yeah, completely oblivious to it for years. I suppose you don't know what you don't know.
There's an assumption that estate agents and letting agents know everything there is to know about property.
Absolutely.
But what you seem to be saying is there's so much more to learn.
And I thought I did. And I was that estate agent that had been there. I was 8 years into agency life, and I was like, I know everything. I can tell you what a house is worth. I can value a house, and I can sell a house, and I can let a house. And there's nothing else that anyone can tell me about property. And then suddenly, in 3 days in Peterborough, my brain exploded. At
the multiple streets of property income
absolutely. And it's kind of, oh, there's lots I don't know. There's lots that I need to know, and I'm not going to find this stuff on my own.
Shall we have a look at the...
Yeah, let's have a look at the bedrooms.
The bedrooms. So is this the master bedroom?
No, so this is the second bedroom on the left.
Wow. Again, very spacious, very light.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's a really, really good size room, this one, to be fair. So for a second bedroom, it's still a really good size. It's definitely a double room. You can get a double bed in here. Yeah, really impressive size room.
Yeah, and this is a chimney breast, is that right?
It is, yeah. So it would have been the original chimney breast. Obviously, there's no fire in downstairs anymore, so it doesn't serve any purpose. For the money it would have cost to knock this out and put supports in to give us an extra little bit of floor space, I just didn't see the value. Didn't see any value in doing it. It's if we were talking about a HMO conversion and we were trying to squeeze space to get an ensuite in and so forth, okay, we might have thought about it, but it's not. It's a 2-bedroom buy-to-let. It doesn't need it.
Absolutely, and again, it comes down to kind of low cost, high impact refurbishment. So let's talk about this deal specifically. You touched on it earlier. So can you did mention how you found it and you got sort of direct to vendor with it. How did that happen?
So yeah, it came from obviously another letting agents that we work with. They're quite a small agency. They don't advertise on the portals or anything like that. It's just a guy looking after some properties for friends and family.
And when you say the portals, you mean things like
Rightmove, Zoopla, that sort of thing. Yeah, sorry, I slipped into agent speak there. Didn't I? It happens. But yeah, he kind of he came to us and said, look, I've got this one I want to sell. Can you help us out on it? Do you have anyone who might be interested? So we came around, had a look. Had a difficult conversation initially regarding price. They believed it was going to be worth a lot more than what it was, but obviously given its condition, the work that was needed, we kind of put an offer forward. So we secured it for £60,000.
So you secured this for 60.
So £60,000 we secured it for. Refurb on it was then 17 grand, but the sold comps, there's 3 in the street sold in the last 12 months, between 90 and 95. So we're really pushing and hoping for a refinance at 95,000.
Wow, so that's a £35,000
£35,000 uplift.
Well, I'm looking at this room. This must be the master bedroom because it's
It is,
massive.
Yes, yeah.
It's
a really
so
good size.
huge.
I mean, one of the things people commonly do with these houses, because the master bedroom is so big and there's so much space, quite often they'll split them down into a 3-bed. And that's one of the routes that we did talk about with the investor when we're looking at it. Do you want to split it down into a 3-bedroom property?
So when you say split it down, what you mean, like putting a wall in
So
somewhere?
you kind of put a stud wall along here and coming across, create a bit of a corridor, and this would become 2 rooms. What it then means is the second bedroom becomes your master bedroom, and this becomes 2 smaller single rooms. But it's ideal for a family that has 2 young children that want their own space.
Absolutely.
And want that, but don't have the budget to be going for a purpose-built 3-bed. And there's a really, really good demand for those, and it does force up the end value that little bit as well, because rather than being worth 95 as a 3-bed, it's probably worth 110.
110, so putting one stud wall in, and maybe doing something with a window.
You'd have to do a window.
Without another 15k.
Absolutely. So you might find you spend 5 or 6 to put 15 on. So it's you're 3xing your investment there. It makes sense, doesn't it?
It makes total sense. And the other thing to point out is you're from Darlington. You live in Darlington, and so that's why you do your properties in Darlington, because you know the area, you know the houses. But there will be some people who are watching that are thinking, well, I'm in a really expensive area. I'm in London. I'm in Oxford. I'm in all of these more expensive places. And actually, I think these strategies are enhanced in those places because you say an extra bedroom here might add 15,000.
Yeah.
And an extra bedroom in London might add 100,000.
Absolutely.
You know, for a very similar price.
Similar sort of spend.
So no matter where you are in the country, if you invest in your area, whether in a cheaper area or a more expensive area, these techniques can work everywhere when you know how to do them.
And that's the key thing, isn't it? Knowing how to do them and knowing what you're doing. And that's the difficult bit is, well, not so difficult now, but it was the difficult bit 18 months ago.
It was the difficult bit before the progressive training.
Absolutely.
And then you had the progressive training, which just seems like a supercharged you forward.
Absolutely,
right?
That's it. It's driven us forward. We're more focused than we've ever been now, to be fair. And it's great.
Having gone through the whole journey that you've gone through, is there anything that you wish you'd done differently?
Done it sooner.
Done what sooner? Property?
Got cracking, done property sooner, went to progressive sooner, started the whole journey. If I started this journey 10 years ago, I can't even imagine where I'd be now. I'd probably be at home with my feet up by now, not having to do anything, with a team doing it for me, it happening in the background and nothing to think about. And that's
and being able to just kick back and eat your crisps and drink some lager.
That's it.
And let your team do the work.
And look at the bank account rolling in the pennies. Absolutely. And that's where I probably would be if I'd have started this 10 years ago. If I'd have started sooner, I imagine we would be in that situation. That's the only regret of the entire journey, is not doing it 10 years beforehand and cracking on with sooner. How
can people find you?
So find me. So I'm on all social medias. So Facebook, Liam McCallum, Instagram, Liam McCallum Property, on our website, sillersproperties.co.uk.
Liam, it's been so fantastic meeting you.
Great to see you.
Thank you for showing us around this wonderful property, and good luck with the continued growth of your business.
Absolutely, hopefully it continues to bloom the way it has been.
Well, how about that then? You have seen today how low-cost, high-impact changes can add value to properties. You have heard how you could potentially replace the income from your job with just one deal per month. All it takes is a little bit of action, some knowledge, and a little bit of training. So this has been the first episode in our new series of the Property Pilgrimage. We are going to be continuing to go around the UK exploring amazing deals like this, all different kinds of strategies, all different kinds of techniques that you can implement yourself to become successful in property. Make sure to like and subscribe us on the YouTube channel to avoid missing future episodes, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the Property Pilgrimage.